Guys, Cindy here. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm with Create Your Own Luck and Love. I'm a love and relationship expert where I support women and men to really open their hearts and receive lasting love, break through any emotional barriers, anything that might be standing in the way of really creating the kind of partnership that is so awesome and amazing. So that's me. Oh no. The alarm is going off in my house, the fire alarm. So don't mind that. Anyways, I want to talk today about healing from toxic love. I've been talking this week about toxic relationships, what that looks like, what they are. And, today I want to talk about turning the corner. When you've been in a toxic relationship, been in a situation where you felt emotionally abused, verbally abused, maybe even physically abused. There's so many different emotions that happen, and there's a lot of fear in leaving. And, there's a lot of reason why people stay. So, that could be emotional dependency and real fear, being in a lack mindset, fear that I won't meet somebody else, nobody's going to accept me, I'm damaged goods. It can also be financial dependency as well as, there's so many other reasons, but, there can be societal or family pressure. It's just, there's a lot of lies that we tell ourselves that make people stay in toxic types of relationships. And especially women, we get to certain points, and it's like there's 4 phases that we actually go through when we finally just say enough is enough. So there's different manipulations that happen and all of that. And I'm going to talk a little bit deeper tomorrow around some things to really look at and look for when it comes to the empath, the compassionate woman, and the narcissist. So this is really common, and I see this with a lot of my clients. Pretty much all of my clients are really giving, caring. They're amazing in relationships, and they really do want to give and be a great partner. So most of the time when ending up in a toxic circumstance or in a relationship where somebody's not available, then it triggers certain things within them. So hence they come to me and we remove those blocks and actually open them up with clarity to attract the kind of partner that is really resonant within their soul. So going into the healing process, I'm going to share with you the number one thing you want to do is accept yourself and lean into it. Accept that you've been in this situation. You're not alone. You're not the only one. Embrace that and love yourself and look at, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but just accept yourself. So part of leaning into that and accepting that you've been in this situation is the other side to it is really truly accepting yourself and accepting where you've been in this aspect. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is getting some support. So support could even start with a friend, a confidant, somebody that you trust, somebody that's actually supportive of you and wants to see you be in the best situation. So they're not beating you down. They're really in a place where they love you, right? So that's number two, right? And getting support in other ways. Healing from toxicity it's an inside out job. It's literally learning to love yourself again. It's getting the toxicity, I can't even say the word, out of your body. So learning certain practices to do that. And I can tell you, there are some things that are really good. Might sound counterintuitive, but fasting, eating really fresh, healthy, organic food, sitting in an infrared sauna, all of these things will help remove toxicity from your body. Also, getting support and uncovering what's underneath it. If there's a pattern, how to unhook from it. I work with women all the time that have been through trauma, and we work on healing those pieces to then support you in moving forward, right? So the next thing is, you guys, get a support group. Find a group, whether that be look for a meetup, look for some sort of support group out there, maybe even a Facebook group that has had some of, women that have been in trauma. And don't worry, when you're on Facebook, nobody's going to see that you joined a group that's, about healing from toxicity. Even if they did, most of the time people don't care and they don't look at your stuff that much. So I'm for some reason that just came up for me to share, and I feel like somebody needed to hear that. So, a lot of times when there's been toxic behavior, there's been all of these things that have really felt that have been heavy and hard, then it's harder to move yourself out of it. It's harder to move, like even start moving. So the next thing is move your body. So when I said healthy vegetables, getting in an infrared sauna, move your body, even if it's just walking around the block, doing a hike, going to the gym. These are the best things to do. It actually takes toxins out of your body. It builds your self-love muscles, and it supports you in feeling better about yourself. Also, typically when a woman's been in a toxic type of relationship, she's been cut off from the things that she may have done in the past that she loves. So start re-engaging in that. Or if you said, gosh, I've always wanted to become a writer, and take a really good writing class, take a couple of them, learn, start moving forward in your life and find ways to make yourself feel like the amazing woman that you already are, right? And toxic relationships are hard because you can be in one and you may not have known it, or it's chipped away at you for so many years that you've become a shell of like an empty shell of the former person that you were. So really looking at, okay, what can I do in my life that makes me feel good? What can I do? So doing that, support groups, hiring a coach, really somebody to support you on that next step, and really looking at, what is my vision? What's my vision for the future? What do I want? And, I've worked with so many women that have been in toxic relationships a long time ago, and then they didn't date for a long time. And then they want to start dating, right? Because of the trauma. So the best thing to do is heal that trauma, rewire the brain so that you could actually move forward quicker. And there's different types of toxic relationships. So, there can be, a withholding of a person. So you're constantly trying to prove yourself worthy, or people pleasing, right? You're trying to be the cool girl. You're trying to be the cool wife. You're trying to be the cool girlfriend. And all you are is a doormat. So looking at what's happened, what is my part in this? And I think it can be hard when there's been one person that's been toxic and has belittled you and, maybe puts you in a dark corner. What can happen is we take on their personality traits and start to behaviorally act like them, even when that's not in your essence. It's not in your spirit to be that person. So I recommend really doing some work around unhooking from it. There's a method, and I'll write it down, that I've worked with some of my clients around unhooking from toxic behavior. And I think it's called the Sedona method. Look it up. And you can actually buy certain little audios from them, and that might be pertaining to where you're at, and they're really good. It just helps, like a little bit of a trigger. Meditation's really helpful. But there's deeper work that gets to be done. Something I work with my clients are called pattern interrupting ways of being. Pattern interrupting. So, you can watch videos, you can do all this stuff. The truth is that really getting support around moving forward. So you don't want to stay, the biggest thing when it comes to healing is you don't want to stay stuck forever. You don't want to stay in this space where you're protecting yourself, you're not opening your heart to really receive love, because life is now, and we're not guaranteed, the next 10 years, the next 5 years, in the next hour. But if you are moving forward and committed to energetically moving yourself forward while you're in your healing process, there's a lot that can open up for you. And learning how to relate differently in relationships, rather than, jump back into the dating scene and do it the same way you've done it. So, and, even if you've healed from toxicity and you have done things differently and it didn't work out, it doesn't mean that the next person won't. It's just, it's part of learning and actually really getting to know yourself. This is the biggest thing when somebody is getting out of toxic relationship patterns, is learning who you are, because your identity has been stripped, and it might have been stripped since childhood. You might not have had a real voice. So you want to start exploring your life, doing things you love, connecting with people. I remember something I used to do is I would get I would get into a relationship, or I would start dating someone that felt really great in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they would be critical or negative towards me. And I felt like I was in this proving energy. So that was a masculine energy too. I always felt like that would end up happening, and I would become, of course, resentful. And I wasn't able to course correct it, right? Some people are open to hearing, gosh, what I'm hearing is this, and what I really need is to feel like you're on my team, right? It depends on the person, right? But the real, true toxic person, their goal is control. Their goal is emotional mastery over you. So you get to take responsibility for yourself and look at, okay, here's my part. Here's where I have contributed. And here's what I get to do. I've got a vision. I want to bring in amazing partnership. I want to strip away what's been, maybe taken away from me, what I felt, has hurt me, and, renew yourself. The great thing about our skin, our cells, they're constantly renewing themselves. So if you look at yourself from that vantage point, that a week ago you're not the same person as you are today, and you're committed to who you are, and that you're not damaged, you get to continue to learn and move forward. I'm not going to tell you there's a one size fits all way to do this, because there isn't. I think for some people, affirmations work really well, and doing them daily. I am a strong believer in journaling. And journaling like, I'm feeling like this, and let it all go. Some people say write a letter, burn it. You could do that. I mean, it's fine. But really just journaling about, here's where I'm at in the moment. And then I'm committed to this. I'm committed to doing one thing daily that I am just depositing into my self-love bank. And then all of a sudden you're doing several things that are depositing in your self-love bank. You might be going, what might be coming up for you right now is, gosh, Cindy, I don't have a whole lot of time. I work, I have kids, and doing this thing. You do. You get to put the oxygen mask on your face first, and then everybody else. Because if you don't, you're gonna die. And those people that rely upon you it's not going to serve them. And cancer builds on toxicity, so looking at how can I be the happiest, healthiest, most vibrant being? How can I do that? What feels good? And it's not always going to feel good. Some of this is counterintuitive. Sometimes you just want to sit on your couch and eat some Haagen-Dazs. And not that you don't want to do that a little bit. It's just you get to get up. You get to move forward, and you actually get to move forward in your love life. There isn't a time frame. I don't believe in waiting very long to get yourself out there, date, meet people, and just open up yourself to friendships, people, what you like, and creating connections, because that will actually take your mind off of the person. Because a lot of times when you've been in a toxic pattern, you can start to sensationalize or idealize the person that you've been with and say, well, if you did this, it would be so much different, when in reality, they're not that person right now. So I hope this helps you. Again, if you feel called to, if you know someone that needs to hear this today, awesome. Please go ahead and share that with them. If you see me on YouTube and you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love that. Follow me on YouTube because I literally post things every single day, from, why men pull away, understanding how to communicate effectively with men, how to navigate this, love and relationships, all of that. It's my jam, ladies. So I hope this helps. Sending you lots of love. Until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.